Redemption. It started in Angel Grove. The mighty Morphin Power Rangers fought Rita Repulsa, a witch cursed by her own lust for power. Yet her story didn't end in darkness. When Zordon's wave purified the universe, Rita was freed from her evil. Reborn as the Mystic Mother. The woman who once sought to conquer Earth became the guardian of all magic. The first redemption in Ranger history came not from the heroes, but from their enemy. Zed too found peace. Once a creature of chaos, he was restored to his human form, his hatred erased. Even Goldar, once a ruthless general, fell defending what remained of loyalty. The Morphin era showed that even monsters could be forgiven. Then came the Zeo era, and redemption took human form. Tommy Oliver, once the Green Ranger under Rita's control, found purpose as Zeo Red. His battles weren't just against Machine Empire, they were against his own past. Every morph, every strike was penance for the evil he once unleashed. But darkness returned in turbo, not through villains, but through exhaustion. Divatox, the Pirate Queen, broke the Ranger's spirit, yet even she would find her own light. When Zordon's energy waves spread across the galaxy, Divatox was cleansed, proving that redemption could touch even the most wicked heart. In space became the turning point. Andros, haunted by his sister's corruption, faced the ultimate choice. Corone, once Astronema, Princess of Evil, was not destroyed but forgiven. When Andros lowered his weapon, he broke the curse of endless revenge. That single act of love saved her soul, and for the first time, a Ranger's greatest enemy became a Ranger herself. In Lost Galaxy, that lesson continued. Trakeena's descent into darkness mirrored Corone's redemption. One sister of light, one of shadow. When Kendrick sacrificed her life to save others, her spirit gave Corone a second chance to truly fight for good. The galaxy's greatest redemption came not through power, but through sacrifice. Lightspeed Rescue showed humanity's side of forgiveness. Diabolico, born of Hellfire, turned against Queen Banshira to save the world he once sought to destroy. Evil wasn't destroyed, it was healed. Then Time Force, where Rancic, a mutant who hated humanity, finally faced his sins. When his daughter was wounded, he fell to his knees, tears in his eyes, begging forgiveness. The man who swore vengeance found peace in compassion. Time Force wasn't a story of punishment, it was a story of redemption. In Wild Force, Cole Evans saw the pain behind the monster. When he refused to destroy Master Org, he broke the ancient hatred between man and nature. Even Zen Aku, cursed by darkness, was freed from his wolf spirit and found peace. Redemption wasn't just possible, it was destiny. Ninja Storm carried it further. Lothor, once a banished student named Kia, tried to prove himself through power. When his plans failed, it was his student's mercy that ended the cycle. Forgiveness defeated what no weapon could. Then came Dino Thunder, the return of Tommy Oliver. His greatest redemption wasn't fighting monsters, but confronting his past selves. Green, white, red, and black. When he was trapped in his own mind, it wasn't strength that saved him, it was acceptance. The man who was once evil finally made peace with every version of who he'd been. SPD took redemption to the stars. The team worked alongside former enemies, aliens, thieves, and even robots, proving that anyone could become a hero. Groom's empire fell, but his lieutenant Broodwing turned himself in. The future of law became the future of forgiveness. In Mystic Force, the greatest darkness was personal. Karag the Night Wolf, sworn to evil, was really Leanbow, father to the Red Ranger. His redemption came not in victory, but in love for his son. When he turned against Necrolay and the Underworld, he proved that even the deepest darkness can serve the light again. Operation Overdrive's lesson came when the Rangers lost everything. Their powers, their confidence, their purpose. But it was a villain, Thrax, the son of Rita and Zed, who reminded them of what mattered. When his own parents' legacy was undone by redemption, Thrax's fall symbolized the final end of evil's bloodline. And then, Jungle Fury, the final chapter. Dai Shi, the ancient spirit of destruction, took human form through Jared. But when Jared faced the truth, he rejected the darkness and saved the world he once endangered. The Paijuk Masters didn't destroy evil, they purified it. The spirit of the lion became one with the man, light and dark, finally balanced. If you've been feeling the weight of this story, the rise, the fall, the redemption, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more. Every bit of support helps this channel grow, and together, we can reach 20,000 subscribers before the year ends. Your support keeps the legacy alive. Without further ado, let's get back to the video. When the world ended, the Power Rangers' redemption began again. In Power Rangers RPM, the apocalypse wasn't a prophecy, it was reality. Venjix had already won. The world outside Corinth was dead. The Rangers weren't fighting for victory anymore. They were fighting to forgive themselves for being too late. Dr. K, the brilliant mind who created the Venjix virus, carried the heaviest burden of all. She wasn't a villain, but she had unleashed one. Her entire fight was redemption. Every weapon she built, every ranger she trained, was a chance to undo her mistake. And when Venjix was finally destroyed, she didn't celebrate. She wept, because she'd learned the greatest truth: that redemption doesn't erase guilt, it gives it purpose. Then came Samurai, where the sins of the past bled into the next generation. Jaden Shiba carried his family's curse, born to seal away Master Xandred with the very symbol that doomed his ancestors. But when he gave up the Red Ranger power to save his friends, he broke the Shiba bloodline's cycle of pain. Even Decker, the cursed swordsman bound by darkness, found peace when his endless duel ended. His redemption wasn't victory, it was rest. Megaforce followed, a team chosen not by destiny but by memory. They carried the legacy of every ranger before them, fighting enemies reborn from the ashes of old wars. But when the final battle came, they realized something powerful. The villains they fought were echoes of what the Rangers themselves used to be: pride, anger, vengeance. The legendary war wasn't about defeating evil, it was about ending the cycle. For once, the world didn't need new heroes. It needed healing. Then the storm shifted. Dino Charge brought redemption back to its roots, through those who were never meant to be heroes. Keeper, the guardian of the Energems, had once unleashed destruction by accident, scattering them across the stars. His Rangers, from Tyler to Shelby, fought to fix what he couldn't. But the true redemption belonged to Heckle. Once fused with the evil Snide, Heckle fought back against the monster inside him. By the end, he became a protector, not a destroyer. The villain literally became a Ranger, proof that light and darkness could share the same body. In Ninja Steel, redemption took form in family. Brody Romero was kidnapped by Galvanax and raised in captivity, trained as a weapon against his own kind. But instead of seeking revenge, he chose forgiveness, freeing the prisoners, freeing himself. Even the villain Ripcon found closure through defeat, realizing his loyalty had chained him. And Madame Odious, the mastermind behind it all, met her end not by hatred, but by the unity of those she tried to divide. Then came Beast Morphers, and the grid itself sought redemption. The morphin energy that had fueled generations of war was now the very thing corrupted. Evox, the new virus, revealed his true face: Venjix. The same digital evil that destroyed the RPM world had returned, trapped in the grid. But this time, the Rangers didn't destroy him in anger. Nate, the young genius who accidentally gave him life again, used compassion to end the threat. When Evox spoke his final words, "I'm sorry," even the morphin grid forgave him. The monster who began the apocalypse died redeemed. In Dino Fury, the power of forgiveness became destiny. Zato and Ion awoke after millions of years, carrying the guilt of the Rafconian War. Their people's arrogance had doomed their planet. But instead of repeating that mistake, they learned from humanity what true courage meant. When Zato sacrificed himself to save the universe, he ascended beyond the grid itself, becoming something purer, a being of light and forgiveness. Even Void Knight and Void Queen, corrupted by grief, were healed by love. They weren't monsters, they were parents who lost everything. Their redemption proved that evil often starts with pain and ends with compassion. And then came Cosmic Fury. The Morphin Grid, the source of all power, had one final lesson to give. The Rangers had traveled galaxies, defeated gods, and seen the end of time, but now the battle turned inward. Lord Zed, the original evil of the Morphin Age, returned. No longer a man cursed by darkness, but a spirit seeking meaning. When Zato confronted him one last time, he didn't destroy Zed out of hate. He freed him. The very essence of evil that once haunted the Rangers was finally set free. The grid went silent. The morphers dimmed. And the universe, for the first time, was quiet. The Power Rangers' true legacy wasn't their victories. It was their forgiveness. Because every villain had once been a victim. Every fallen hero had once been a dreamer.